Now on Central Illinois News Day, combining cars, coffee, and a weekend event. How it's getting started for the season and where more than 500 cars will be parked. Also,
I can't think of the last time that I've been this excited about a recipe. Join me today as I share what I'll be serving for Easter brunch.
Central Illinois News Day on WMVD starts now.
First, a critical crash in Washington, D.C. leaves 2 Capitol Police officers injured. We're learning more about a security incident right outside our nation's capital. Investigators saying a vehicle tried to break a security barrier and rammed into 2 USCP officers. A suspect was taken into custody. Both officers and the suspect were taken to a nearby hospital shortly after the crash. 2 sources confirmed to CBS News that the suspect and one of the officers are now dead. We'll keep following the situation online on CIProud.com, and coming up on WMBD News at 4, we'll hear from our Washington correspondent who will be reporting live from the Capitol. Well, back here at home, Peoria residents and community leaders are making their voices heard to the Illinois House Redistricting Committee. Every 10 years, there's a new census and redistricting based on its results. It's a process of redefining political geographic boundaries. As it stands now, Illinois has 118 Senate House districts and 59 state Senate districts. State leaders are also asking local residents and community leaders for input before drawing new lines for the next decade. Some residents say there are more needs to be thought about with investment, especially in the most distressed areas.
There has been little to no investment in the South Side for over 30 years, which has caused blight and vacant lots, which generate no tax revenue.
Residents say redistricting must be fair and equitable for all. Illinois State Representative Jahan Gordon Booth is saying it's critical for local voices to be heard within the redistricting process. The Livingston County drive-through COVID-19 testing site will stop running tomorrow. This is because fewer people are going there to be tested. Health officials say they will bring the testing site back up if it needs to be again soon. COVID-19 testing is available in Livingston County at local pharmacies by appointment. Drive-through and walk-up testing is also available at the Interstate Center every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Nickelodeon is helping kids get answers about their questions when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. This weekend, Nick News is taking real questions from young people across the country directly to Dr. Anthony Fauci for some candid answers. Chris Martinez has a preview.
Do I really have to wear 2 masks?
Caleb, you really only need to wear 1 mask.
Infectious disease expert Dr. Anthony Fauci is answering questions from some of the country's most inquisitive minds.
I didn't get to have a birthday party last year. Will I miss it again this year?
Natalie, it depends on when your birthday is.
This question and answer series is part of an effort by Viacom CBS's Nickelodeon to help address concerns kids have about the coronavirus pandemic.
And now a Nick News break.
Questions were submitted by children across the country. Dr. Fauci's answers will be featured this weekend in a series of Nick News Breaks, an ongoing Nickelodeon segment that covers major news topics for young people. A number of kids, including 6-year-old Ella, asked about the safety of gathering with friends.
When will I be able to have play dates again?
You know, Ella, I would hope that by the time we get to the late spring and early summer, you could start having play dates. So hang on a little bit longer.
10-year-old Jade wants to know if it's safe to hug her vaccinated grandmother.
Even though you're not vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask when you're with her, and you could go back and get one of her really big hugs.
Kids can tune in this weekend to hear Dr. Fauci's responses on Nick, Teen Nick, Nicktoons, and all of Nickelodeon's social media sites. Chris Martinez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
And President Biden is exploring the presidential authority to forgive student loans, but has yet to decide how to address the financial burden on student borrowers. The White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain said Thursday the president has asked his Secretary of Education to prepare a memo on the legal authority to cancel student debt, according to CBS News. Klain says Biden still hasn't gotten the memo to make a decision yet, but he hopes he'll see it in the next few weeks and the look into the legal authority. Student loan debt has topped more than $1.7 trillion, according to the Federal Reserve. More than 42 million Americans have student loan debt, according to the Department of Education. Well, Normal's Children's Discovery Museum hoping to reopen its doors after being closed for a year. The museum hoping to allow its first guests May 1st after COVID-19 has forced them closed. Because of the pandemic, most staff was laid off, and now the museum is looking for part-time help. Children's Discovery Museum Director of Experiences says the reopening date depends on the state's bridge to Phase 5.
We'll open for the first few weeks to members only. Our members are our closest family, and so they'll allow us to make sure that those new safety protocols that we have in place, our cleaning procedures, our operations are fine-tuned, and then we'll reopen to the general public after the members.
She says capacity will be limited to 150 patrons, with families pre-registering for a time slot. A Pekin man behind a 30-year-long Good Friday tradition is aiming to restore hope in the community. Paul Helmig, also known as Pekin Jesus, has portrayed the Son of God for the past 3 decades. He's known for wearing a bloodied garment and carrying a 10-foot cross up Court Street from one end of Pekin to the other. He says now that the world is still dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, he's hoping his walk with the cross can be a symbol for faith.
I hope that it'll be the point that will help draw people into hope. You know, that's the hope that's going to get us through this, the hope that's going to get us through this world.
And hear from those who have come out for years to watch his portrayal tonight on WMBD News at 5.
You're watching Central Illinois Newsday with Rebecca Brumfield and meteorologist Adam Sherwinski with your local weather authority forecast. This is Central Illinois Newsday on WMBD.